Good morning, glory, hallelujah to you. What the hell's your story and what's going through you? We're living like kings off the fat of the land, and we're working like dogs in bass fishing talk show land. I'm your host, Pat Renwick, and we are here today for the kickoff, the inaugural Straycast broadcast from the 2018 Forrest Wood Cup, right from the Convention Expo Center.
I'm beating you up, man. I'm beating you up.
Oh,
I'm not turned on here.
Oh, no,
there we go.
There's Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever on Straycast, my godfather of bass fishing talk shows.
How you doing?
My buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mark Jeffries right here. Yes.
How you doing?
It's Mark Jeffries. Can you believe this?
What a great day.
It is.
Great day,
And then,
Patrick.
of course, over here to my right, Ryan Popcorn Whitaker.
Howdy.
Joining us as always. Yes, he plays drums. Ryan plays drums. And producing the snot out of this wingding over here, it's the Ginger Ninja, Andrew Illenberger. Yes.
Little Three Stooges there.
Hello. Hello, Mark Jeffries.
What a great day.
What a great day. We're here at the Forrest Wood Cup, dude.
Hey.
And I couldn't think of a better way, a more glorious way to kick it off than to have Mark Jeffries join us for the first time ever.
I'm grateful to be here. What a great venue. We talked last night. We talked this morning. Dude, if you could take this venue and package it up and travel around the country.
It's a traveling venue.
It would be.
For the most prestigious tournaments in the world.
The perfect venue.
It is.
Hotels attached, arena right in the middle, expo right there. You can't ask for any more from a venue standpoint.
It's absolutely perfect.
And you know what else, Patrick?
Yeah.
$10 to park.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. I heard they charged you $20 though, Mark.
No, $10.
$10.
Right? And
okay.
Did you ever hear my rant about what went down in New Orleans?
Oh yeah,
at the
yeah,
Classic.
Yeah,
dude,
but tell us again.
$60.
That's crazy.
$60 to park your vehicle.
But they
per
had
night?
you. They had you.
Yeah.
They knew it.
Come on, man, $60.
That's a lot of money, dude.
I'd take the parking tickets.
Well,
Probably
that was
cheaper.
the
like
parking
120,
tips
man.
in New Orleans were, I don't know, they
Yeah.
were $5.20.
That's $120.
Yeah.
That's $120 right there, Mr. Popcorn Whitaker. $120.
We're not the best mathers.
All right.
Hey, man.
Day one, man.
Day one, we're here.
The guys, they're struggling a little bit, man.
I could tell. I mean, what did we see, Mark? 7 pounds? 5 pounds?
I think
6 pounds?
I saw 5 pounds.
5 pounds? Well, I know Brian Thrift has 5 pounds, but he's sandbagging. He's got 3 secret docks. He has 3 secret docks that he's going to. He's just saving them for
Why?
after lunch. He's saving them.
Why?
He's saving them for after lunch.
Why?
It's in his contract. It's in his contract, Mark.
I don't understand
Yeah,
that.
he has to. He's saving them because that's how they want to build up the
drama?
the drama, and the element of surprise. You know, the dun dun dun.
You don't want to get cocky in the morning.
That
you know?
whole deal.
Drama's a good thing, but on day one of the Cup, dude, you better go out and catch as many as you can.
No, you're exactly right. And all kidding aside, they're struggling out there. But Mark, I think it's like every derby that we always see. These guys are great. Somebody is gonna catch.
Yeah, how about that dude right there?
That's amazing. That's amazing jump shoot.
Is that not
Yeah.
just epic?
It's absolutely
What's
phenomenal.
what's on the back? What do you have on the back? He's got nothing on the back.
Nothing on the back.
Well,
It's for sale.
Take your backpack off and get in front of that camera real quick, just so the world can see, and introduce yourself to the internet world.
Look at him.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. That's why he produces, and I just talk.
Okay, can we see him?
Let- Get on the
Gotta
mic
switch the camera.
and introduce yourself to the internet world. We know who you are, but let them know who you are and how awesome your
You think-
jumpsuit is.
hey,
I'm
Patrick.
Sean Boyle from North Texas, and I drove up this morning to see the guys fish today and tomorrow and enjoy the expo.
Yeah, that's Sean. But wait, you told me you came here to see Stray Casts.
I did.
Yeah, let's.
Nice save.
You,
Guys that came to see.
yeah, you're like.
I got to see my other favorite show,
Yeah.
Bass Talk Live.
There-
with Great Mark Jeffries.
Look at
Yeah.
that. Wait, there's a show called Bass Talk Live?
Yeah, it's been around for
Oh,
a few days.
that's-
Just a few days. We just started it. Hey, I want to know, does he fish in that?
Do you fish in that, Sean?
He does not.
You need to.
That's just the expo suit.
Yeah, you need to fish in that,
I
Sean.
actually made it for the Classic last year, and just to see, and I got such a positive reaction, more than my wildest dreams could ever imagine.
All right.
Can I make one suggestion?
Imagine if you wore it on the water.
Yeah. One suggestion. More patches.
More patches.
More like everything patches from your ankles up to your shoulders. Right, Mark?
Yeah.
More patches. You can
More
never
patches.
you can never have enough patches. Yeah,
First one to add
and
Mr.
make sure you
Twister.
have contradicting sponsors on there. Like you want Zoom and Mans on there, and right next to each other. Like put Zoom.
Did you ever see the Zona show
I
where
sure
he came
did.
out with the jersey and what did it have 130,000
And it had a
logos
unicorn on the front, which
Yeah.
was My Pretty Pony, I believe it
Yeah.
was,
Woo,
which
true.
was phenomenal.
Wow.
You know how much Mark got for that jersey? He auctioned it off.
Did he really?
He did. He auctioned that jersey off and got a just under ridiculous amount of money for it.
What'd the guy do with it?
Who knows? Maybe it's
Framed it?
It's in his man
Signed
cave.
it?
Yeah, I think Terry Brown is actually the one that bought it. Yeah,
I'm sure Terry has it in his
yeah.
office.
Terry has it in a shrine.
Loud and proud.
It's like Buddha, but it's really Mark's jersey that he has in there.
All right, man. I want to get into a conversation here with you.
Please do,
because we got into a major. Not when I say we, Matt, my partner, Matt Pangrack, got into a major argument, and I want to get your take on it.
Please ask. Ask
All
away.
right, we're here at the Cup. A normal FLW Tour event is how many days?
That's 4.
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Cup is how many days?
It's trace, or 3, as they would say in Espanol.
Okay. Now, typically, what is the field size in a regular season FLW event?
672 anglers
One-
per FLW event.
I think 187.
Is it?
Okay. How large is our field here in Hot Springs this week?
It's it's like a Heinz 57 sauce, something like that.
All right.
Okay.
So, what is easier to win, a regular season FLW Tour event or the FLW Cup?
Well, if you're talking odds, I think
I'm not talking odds. I just want to know which one is easier to win. Which one do you think is easier to win and why?
Well, again, I think that's a loaded question, Mr. Jeffries.
That's why I'm here.
Because here's the deal: if you got 672 anglers in one tournament and you got 57 anglers in another tournament, it's easier to win the 57 angler tournament. It's just like a lotto ticket. So
Okay.
let's say that you know that there's only 5,000 people in this week's Powerball.
Yes.
Okay. But last week there was 25,000 people in the Powerball.
You're way too logical.
Okay.
Very logical.
And that's uncharacteristic of me to be that logical. But go ahead, please.
Okay. So, as a result of a 4-day tournament or a 3-day tournament, do you agree? And a lot of anglers agree with this statement that it is easier to win the Cup than it is to win a regular season FLW event.
I think I'm going to have to, just because of odds and the decreased amount of days, go with the Cup. But let me say this. 4-day tournaments, as you know, you've covered this forever. 4-day tournaments are always a grind. It is a test of the best.
Yes, it is.
Because that 4th day, how many times historically, Mark, have we seen that 4th day make or break an angler? Constantly.
All the time.
Constantly.
Because what does successful anglers, what is the one thing that most of them possess during the week? They're able to adjust.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're able to make that move on day 4, of which, all right, I've been doing this for the last 2.5 days. Boom. Halfway through day 3, they realize that conditions are changing. They make the right adjustments based upon their knowledge, their experience, the body of water they're on, the time of the year. I mean, there's a zillion things that go into it. But to be able to do that on day 4 is much more difficult to do, in my opinion, and a lot of the anglers' opinions, to be able to do that during a 3-day event with a smaller field. So I think it is much easier, in agreement with a number of the anglers, to win the Cup than it is a regular season event.
And again, that you see that was my logical
Also, fish,
opinion.
Now,
fish management.
forget about all of the other intangibles about it being the Cup and all the money on the line, the prestige, the notoriety, the accolades, everything else that goes along with it. When it really boils down to it, dude, it's 3 days.
Yeah, it's 3 days.
But now, what about the fact that this is the best of the best from the year? Doesn't that make it a little bit
That's
harder
another
to win?
intangible. But here, I'm going to make this statement, and this is no disrespect to anybody. It's just a fact. When you look at a field size of, what'd you say, Popcorn? What was it?
Like 57?
No. Regular season event. 160,000. Is that what you said?
672. I think
Wait,
this
let me
year is
check.
188.
I'm just going to use
See,
180.
It's right there, 672.
I'm just going to use 180.
Yeah.
Let's use 180. All right. Out of those 180 anglers, truly, what percentage of those guys realistically have a shot at winning? This is another argument, too.
In the regular season event?
Yeah. Maybe 20%, 25?
Is that right?
25 guys, Marcus.
Maybe 20, 25%. And I'm not
I was
taking
thinking
anything
50.
away from the guys.
Right.
I'm not. All right. That is just historical data will show that roughly about 25% of the field truly has a shot based upon performance at winning. Now, are you always going to have, out of 160 guys, one guy that may surpass that 20% threshold?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you will.
But I'm just looking at it from years of historical data that we go back and I don't know why we crunch these numbers, but we do. But looking at it, it's about
fun.
20 to 25% of the field truly has a shot based upon experience and performance. All right, now, having said that, do you have that same characteristic about the people that are here this week competing? No.
It's true.
No, you don't. So Popcorn brings up a great point that intangible factor does exist, but at the same time, I think the equity of only having 47 guys or 57 guys or whatever the number is and only having to do it 3 days rather than 4, that I agree with a number of the anglers that say it is much easier to win the Cup than it is a regular season event.
It is, too. And
Here's a question that I don't know the answer to.
Mark
How
does.
many anglers have won the Cup that didn't qualify through the tour?
Wow.
Do you know of any?
I don't know.
Like All-Americans or coming through the Costas?
That
Or the ever
Bennett kid
starts
won $1
back in
million.
the day.
The qualifying was different then.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't answer that, but that's a great question.
It is.
We'll have Matt look that
If
one
anybody
up.
knows, please hit the chat here.
That's a great question. Off the top of my head, I would say 0. Off the top of my head, I would say 0.
I think that's a good educated guess.
The only one I could think of is possibly Wheeler. He didn't come in through the All-American, did he?
Yeah, he won the All-American.
Was that
how
he
he
won the Cup?
qualified for the Cup?
He won the All-American. I don't know what year that was. I can't remember. It's funny. We just had him on the show on
11.
Thursday.
Wait,
11.
11?
It was 2011.
2011.
Was that the year he won the Cup?
No, he got
No.
second on the Red River, right?
Yeah.
Aha.
Yep.
Okay, so
All
no
right.
there.
All right, so let's continue this. All right, dude, I've got 3 or 4 different subjects that I want to talk to you about and get your
Good.
opinion on.
Okay.
All right, Matt and I got into another heated discussion about whose resume is better. Not who's a better angler, not who is, has more earnings or anything like that, but whose resume is better, Jordan Lee or Jacob Wheeler?
Ooh. Okay. that is definitely
Majors or regular season?
Dude,
Yeah.
resume. All right, when you go out for a job, Patrick, when you throw out your resume right here and you throw it down and you're looking to, capture a better position or maybe more money or whatever, I mean, your resume is everything. It doesn't matter if you worked at, Baskin Robbins or the corporate office of Merrill Lynch. If something's on there that is going to give you an edge, to give you that job, you want to include everything that showcases your skills.
Now
right?
here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking, and that is that's a catch 44 or 6 of 5 half dozen of the other question again from you, Mr. Jeffries. But the deal is, I think is that the fact of the matter is, and there's a couple major events as we know in bass fishing. Okay. There is, of course, the Forrest Wood Cup that we are at right now, and probably the fact of the matter is that more people are familiar with the Bassmaster Classic than the Forrest Wood Cup, and I'm safely saying that. Okay?
Yes.
Jordan Lee has 2 Bassmaster Classics under his belt.
Yes, he does.
And they are back to back, so he has joined the ranks of Ricky Clunn, Kevin Van Dam, and now himself, Jordan Lee.
2 valid points, all right?
Huge.
So I
huge
ask you the question.
highlight of the resume.
I ask you
Huge.
the question. What else has he done?
He's got awesome Carhartt wardrobe. His Carhartt wardrobe is outstanding.
College.
Yeah,
uh,
he's got his dad is Bruce Lee, and his and also
I thought it was Spike Lee.
No, Spike Lee is the cousin in the family they don't talk about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but besides that,
He's got 2.
yeah, that's a big deal. Now
Yeah.
you didn't let me finish. You
Okay,
see,
keep
you
going,
see
man.
how you cut
Keep
me
going.
off there?
Keep going.
Like
Keep
that?
going.
What do you do? Host a talk show or something?
Keep going, man.
All right. So here's the other. Why is the producer
It
shaking
is
his head
refreshing
at
to
me?
see you
Why-
get cut off for a change.
Yeah, it's awesome, right?
Keep going.
No, I love it when Mark's here. And the fact that Jacob Wheeler, he does have a zillion credentials under his hat. Is that what we would call it? Mm-hmm.
On his resume.
in his back pocket. Yeah, dude. I mean, look what he's done on this FLW tour.
Yeah.
I mean, and then look what he did when he first came over to the Elite Series. Boom, 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 boom.
Win.
Right.
Won the PFL All-American.
Right. But the question is, okay, he's done all that, but what does the industry or the fans look at more? Okay, so what is better eye candy? Okay, what's better eye candy? 2 Bassmaster Classic wins in a row, joining the ranks, or all these wins, the All-American, the FLW Cup, FLW. I think was he Angler of the Year too in FLW?
That
Wheeler?
I don't know.
Wheeler.
I don't think so.
I don't believe
No.
so, though.
No.
But a lot there. But what is the appeal? I think it's the eye candy.
I think it's the class.
Okay.
Here's the tiebreaker.
It's like a
Which
trophy
one-
wife.
Which
You know
one
what I
has
mean?
been on Straight Cast more times? That's going to be the winner.
Jordan Lee has.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's got
Well,
it.
Jacob and Jordan are probably tied. Actually.
It's really close on
Yeah.
times in the money, and
Yeah.
Is that right?
they're really close.
Yeah, but his all-time earnings, and I said I was going to bring money into it.
Yeah, classic is 300 a pop, right?
Yeah, but even with taking a look at Jacob's FLW earnings,
Yeah.
it's not even close.
No.
Not even close
No.
from an earnings standpoint.
Not. But again, it's like the eye candy. Okay. it is. It's. I mean, come on. Are you going to disagree with that?
I'm not going to disagree with that. What? You ever been to one of those? And I've only been one time to those Brazilian steakhouses.
Yes. Fogo
Okay,
de Chão.
where they bring
yeah.
the,
They
the
just
food
keep
out.
bringing it till you put the red light up.
That's
Yeah,
it.
green
Yeah.
red.
All right, until you tap out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Till you get meat sweats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a dude that loves to eat red meat or any other meat, I mean that is paradise.
Absolutely.
All right? But they
Carnivore.
But you
Love
know
it.
what? What if I cut a deal with you and said, "Hey man, you only get to go one time. That's it. That's all you get to go one time." All right.
In my
That's
life.
one time.
One time.
All right. You're gonna go. You're gonna enjoy that, and you're gonna have that forever. That hey man, I got to go to what is it called again? Fogo.
Fogo or what's the Brazil?
Fogo de Chão.
Yeah.
Texas Day Brazil.
All right.
Is that one
I
too?
mean, when you walk in that place, you better be hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't eat for a couple days.
And don't
if
eat the
you-
bread.
If you really, really love to eat meat, that's like the holy grail. It's kind of like the classic. The classic is the same thing. But you know what? It's the only time you're going to be able to eat meat is that one time. But you visited the holy grail.
But you ate it better than anyone.
Yeah, but you know what the other guy did over here, dude? Dude, he's going to the Black Angus. He's going
He's hitting
to
them all. Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's hitting them all.
Outback
Outback Steakhouse. Yeah.
Ruth Chris.
Ruth Chris in Chicago.
Yeah.
for sure.
And he is just feasting on everything else, but you only got that one little taste, all right? And then you know what happens? You're walking down the street and you happen to see a certificate to go to Fogo. You lucked out, and you're going to get to go one more time. You see where I'm going?
I do see where you're going, but I'm not sure about this.
He ate more than anyone 2
Yeah.
year in a row.
Yeah, I mean, he got that
And
certificate.
he's in his early
Hey, but
20s.
the only time that he got to go back was because he found the lucky certificate
That's true.
on the street right there, and kind of, he worked his way back into it because of something that took place and something that he found. All right, and that's a whole nother conversation. And I don't know if you're picking up the vibes on what I'm getting
I
at on
am.
that.
Yes.
All right. Dude, when you compare the resumes, and it was great to get feedback from the viewers on this one, it was split about 60-40.
In whose favor?
60% on Wheeler, 40% on Jordan Lee. Now, the great thing about being in the media and having a platform as we do is to have the capability to discuss this and talk about it. it takes nothing away from what both of these guys do. They are both tremendous anglers.
Absolutely.
They are at the top, all right, of this industry. But at the same time, man, it creates some really cool conversation. to be able to
Jordan,
argue.
Jordan Lee has a lot of time to still prove because he's been at it a little.
He's fresher.
Has not
But
been at
see,
it as long.
I'm telling you this too. Some people do realize it, but I think the vast majority of people don't realize that dude came out of the womb
Yeah.
throwing a football jig.
He did.
Uh-huh.
He did. But,
You know?
I mean, I'm still saying I'm going with and again, not undermining. They're both amazing anglers.
Yes.
Absolutely talented in every aspect. But I'm going with the eye candy.
All right.
You know, I guess it's
You like the big splash,
yeah,
right?
it's like you got to marry the trophy wife, but she's still a bitch at home. you know what I mean?
Do you add
She looks good in public.
Okay.
MLF, UH, or UMF?
Yeah.
Even
The
though
MLF.
if Lee hasn't participated in that?
Yeah, he hasn't been there yet.
In UMF?
Or
I mean,
MLF.
Wheeler.
Wheeler's nailed that UMF.
Yeah.
And Joe Thomas is actually his secret father.
It's true.
You know, the one thing about that show, it gets DVR'd. I mean, I DVR it.
Sure.
But it's kind of jacked up that it comes on at like 2:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These weird times on the Outdoor Channel. I'm like, why is this on? Oh, okay, here, I'll just set the DVR. Hey, do you guys realize now, and I'm not going to mention the network that I have, the cable or dish or direct or whatever I have.
Yeah.
Do you realize now that the company that I'm using, their service automatically fast forwards through all the commercials?
Really?
Really?
I did not know
How
that.
do the advertisers know that?
I don't think so.
No.
Because that sounds like
Automatically, I was sitting there watching it, and a buddy of mine said, "Hey, man, FF." And I said, "Do you not have the remote? Because it just went right to the next scene." Wow. He's like, "No."
In fact, my provider, when there's certain things that I'm watching on demand,
Yeah.
does not let you go through the commercials. Seriously.
Yeah,
Really?
some-
Like,
usually
Some
like
are protected.
yeah.
The on-demand stuff.
the on-demand
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
not DVR'd.
Yeah,
On
this
demand.
DVR stuff, though,
New.
it automatically fast forward through all the commercials.
Wow. That sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Don't know.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. You guys may not have noticed this because I like digging into these little, I don't know, fascinating features of all of this technology that has exploded the last 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
On the bass side, you know, they advertise that it is on ESPN3 on your or ESPN Plus,
Okay.
the new feature. Did you know that?
The Ocho?
That's
Not
on
the Ocho.
I did not.
You know, they did the Ocho thing a couple of days ago, though. That was pretty funny. They had some, like, totally bizarre events that were taking place. But anyway, I think it's ESPN Plus. They advertised that the live stream not only shows up on the Bassmaster website, but it also shows up on ESPN Plus.
I did not know that.
No.
Yes.
And that's actually on
That's
television or the
No,
internet?
it's on the app,
Okay.
on the ESPN app.
Gotcha.
Okay, but when and if you watch it on the ESPN app, it does not show the same commercials that are airing on Bassmaster.com. It is totally controlled by ESPN.
Interesting.
So
None of
whatever-
them.
So, none of them. So, like, if you have, sponsor XYZ that is paying for the live streaming, and people are pushing viewership toward the ESPN app, those sponsors don't get the exposure that they're paying for if they're paying for that exposure on the ESPN app
How does that happen?
because ESPN controls all the content.
Wow.
You learned something, didn't you?
I sure did, and it's I don't know. It's
So that exposure, and here's why they do it. This is why they did it, Patrick, is they are trying to expose the game to people that already might be watching Kentucky basketball or something.
Gotcha.
All right. So now they're scrolling through their screens and they see this fishing thing that shows up. All right, boom, I'll press on that. And it is a good idea to try and get exposure from people that may not even know what the hell's going
Kind
on.
of like the MLF on CBS.
Yes.
Oh, we could get into a big discussion about that.
Please, let's do. So I mean, I'm gonna give some credit where credit is due because just from people that I know, okay, that don't fish, they're like, hey, we saw that bass fishing on CBS.
Yeah.
We saw that bass. That's pretty cool how they do that.
Absolutely.
So, and they have, and one of them being my father, he doesn't fish at all. He doesn't fish at all. He's like, I kind of like that Hackney guy. I'm like, yeah, Dad, he's a badass.
he is. He's a bad dude.
That's Greg Hackney, but that's an example of it right there.
Yeah, I actually had a non-fisherman. I told him I had fished a tournament over the weekend, and he asked me how many penalties I got.
Yeah.
For hitting
I
the
said,
carpet.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, we don't do that. We just fish for 5 and carpet flop them.
Wow. No, I'm with you, Pat. It is definitely opened up the eyes to some people that had never been exposed to the game. I mean, think about the guy that's waiting for, day 3 of the Greensboro Open
Right.
for golf.
Right.
And the next thing you know, this thing's popping up before he's ready for his golf game, and he checks it out. There's some things about it. I kind of call this last season the Major League Catching League because that's what it is. I mean, it is fish catch, fish catch, fish catch, fish catch. Fish catch, fish catch, fish catch, fish catch, fish catch.
It's like when you get The Rock, Schwarzenegger, and Stallone in one movie. It's just all fighting in action.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And it's pretty impressive the way that they can piece all of that together. Tremendous amount of hours spent in editing because think about all the
time
content.
it up.
Dude, it's not Fast and Furious like that. So the production group that put that thing together have spent days, hours, weeks just trying to put those shows together. The one thing that I wish they would have done on the CBS product, Patrick, and let me get your thoughts on this, is in order to grow it, you do have people watching that show that don't even know what a bass is.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
They have no idea. So kind of
You eat those fish?
The setup and the progression, all right, is really not appealing to somebody that does not know the game.
I'm glad you brought that up because I hadn't even thought about it because I love it, but I fish. Mm-hmm. So
it's eye candy to the guys that knows what's going on.
It is.
For the people that don't know, what is that lure he's even throwing?
Yeah, they don't know what a spinner bait is or are
they using artificials?
Yeah. You catch them on a level wine?
I know. There's a lot of assumption that goes into that show. Now, if that show was airing on the Outdoor Channel as it does, it's eye candy. It's what everybody wants. It's what people want to see. They want to see the star of the show, which is the fish.
Absolutely.
I think why they're doing this is that the FLW and the Bassmasters at times have gone kind of overboard. Not overboard, but really over-explained the techniques.
Yeah.
They dumb it down.
They dumb it down, and I don't think it's worked that well.
But
and maybe that's why they're not doing it.
But you know what?
The fish catches.
You know what, Popcorn? When you're spending over $1 million to have this platform on CBS, and you're doing it for the primary reason that has been stated of trying to attract a new audience, why not? If you're going to
got to have some dumbing down.
If you're going to spend that much money and put it on a national network, you have to do that. You have to do that. If you're just going to put it on the Outdoor Channel, keep doing what you're doing because it's a hell of a product.
Now, I saw another tournament league that is a major league, and I'm not going to name any names right now, that actually said, and this is a direct quote, okay?
All right.
Today, our anglers are in Florida, and they are going after largemouth black bass. Largemouth black bass like to live in green vegetation. They have to find a way to get their lures to these bass in this vegetation. Then, once they are hooked, they will use their landing nets to get the fish in the boat in order to try and accomplish the ultimate goal of this $100,000 prize.
I saw the same thing.
Wow.
That's very good. You watch that a lot.
That is impressive.
Yeah, I improv'd a little, but but no, that happened. But here's my point. They were trying to achieve what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as ridiculous as it seemed to us, avid bass anglers, people that are bass fishing freaks, love the sport of bass fishing, it seemed ridiculous and dumb to us.
Here's the key word, Patrick. Balance.
Yeah.
There needs
It's
to be
yings and
a
yangs.
balance
Yeah.
there. all right, because you have to appeal. You're spending a tremendous amount of money to try and appeal to an audience that just doesn't know your game. And you know what? I'm watching these obscure things on ESPN, like the drone racing league, and what's the thing that
Hot dog eating contest.
Oh no, that's
That's
epic.
big- that's big time.
That is big time.
That's big time.
What is it? Cornhole, the cornhole championships.
Yeah. Oh yes.
I mean, what are some other obscure things that are
Ring
on?
toss.
Ring toss, darts. There's another one.
There's
The
a flippy
lumberjack.
cup. Yeah.
But in looking at a lot of those entities, they do a really good job appealing to the person that really isn't familiar with what the heck's going on with their event. All right, I think what you just demonstrated and what you said is a tad bit of overkill. So you got to have balance.
Right.
Balance is the key. But I'm telling you, man, and there's some stuff getting ready to go down. I'd say within the next few months.
I've heard.
I haven't heard anything. What are you talking
As
about?
early as September.
Dude, I'm just telling you, there's some things that are going to happen that are going to what was that one saying? Shock the world? Who said that?
Shock of the Monkey, Peter Gabriel.
No, that's a song.
Set the world on
sorry.
fire.
Yeah. That
As David Dudley would
things are wow, we are going to have so much to talk about, Patrick.
Yes.
It's going to be so good for us.
It's
I
the
cannot
dawning
wait.
of the age of Aquarius.
Here's the biggest thing with. I think they need more time, and that seems like
how
a problem
long?
too.
Maybe how long they've been working
How
on this
long
for
is
a
the
while.
show?
Who
No,
knows?
not that. The shows. I'm saying these shows.
Oh no! Don't
It's
don't
getting-
change the
getting
subject. We
balanced.
got where we needed to be.
No,
right
I
here.
know.
They-
But the 1 hour,
Yeah.
1 hour CBS.
Yeah.
For me, it's not enough time. I need more.
It's
I need more.
It's
You're missing
jam-packed.
catches too.
It's jam-packed what they have to throw in there. And really when it comes down to it, I think it boils down to 48 minutes is what they're trying to crunch
Right.
in there with
Right.
advertising.
yeah, you got to get that 12
So they do a tremendous job, the production crew and everybody that's working on the MLF series, to be able to crunch in 42 minutes or 48 minutes everything that people see on that CBS show. But at the same time, I think it is enormously critical to give that explanation of what the heck is going on to the guy that's sitting there waiting to watch the golf tournament.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because historically there's two. I mean, think of how many times that, like, could fishing on television, or on a network television show, be the new thing to take a nap to, like golf is quite
Yeah.
often.
Right.
I mean, but it is getting out there. Do you know what I mean?
The other thing is it also portrays a perception that it's easy.
It does.
You guys agree with that?
Yeah, I do.
Oh
I do.
gosh, yeah.
Now-
and look what's happening today out there.
Right, you just
Now,
flip your little bug into that bush.
Perfect example.
And the only reason I bring that up is because if you're trying to expand the interest in this game and somebody sees how easy it is, what are they going to do? Okay, they may go out and they may buy $100 worth of tackle. They may buy a new rod and reel. They're probably not going to go out and spend $80,000 on a new boat.
right.
Well, to
The
bring it back
nexus.
to golf, how many people do that with golf, though? They make it look pretty easy, too.
They make it look pretty easy. But what happens with those guys that golf? They go out, they go to the range, they may play a couple of rounds, they shoot 115, and they're like, "Screw this! I can't do it."
Yeah.
But there is a flip side to that, and you know what the flip side is?
What's that?
Is you have guys that get obsessed with getting better.
Yes.
They do.
Yeah,
They
once you get that
obsessed.
personality.
So
yeah.
if you go out there and you don't have success, I would say that 70% of the people, 30% may say, screw this, I'm not going to do it. But 70% of the people are going to spend the money. They're going to put the time in. They're going to put the effort in to go, okay, how can I get better at this?
And that's the mission
that's
accomplished.
100%
Yeah.
of bass fishermen.
Yeah.
If you aren't that kind of person, you're not fishing.
I mean, you guys obviously know who Kevin Hawk is, right?
Sure.
Mhm.
All right, what did Kevin Hawk do? He won the
He won.
FLW
Yeah.
Cup,
Yeah,
right?
won a
But
big
what's he
bucks.
doing now?
I
He's
have no idea.
done.
Yeah, and I don't know what that
He
that
is
other guy's
trying to
doing
get
either.
better.
The other $1 million winner.
He's a nurse in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Michael Bennett.
Bennett, yeah.
But Kevin Hawk got to the point where he worked and worked. I don't know if you know the background on him, on how many days that he spent leading up to the Cup and everything that he did to prepare for that one event that he won. But he went out, he had success, he fished the Elite Series for a little while. Then he was like, you know what, I'm done doing this. He went back, he was a guide on Guntersville for a long time. And then finally his next door neighbor was Justin Lucas,
Really?
And finally, he would talk to Lucas every morning, and he called Boyd Duckett and said, "Hey, man, I'm done. You want any stuff that I have?" And he went over and he knocked on Lucas's door and said, "Hey, man, I'm done. I'm moving back to California. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to be a physical therapist. I'm done." So all of his stuff, right, basically went to, guys that were there around Guntersville that he was friends with, and I guess Lucas got, a good chunk of it. But in fact, I just talked to Justin last week about him, and he's doing really well. He's in California. He's on schedule to be a certified physical therapist within the next 12 months. And he still fishes a little bit. He's got a little bitty aluminum boat that he goes out to a lot of those small lakes in California.
Isn't that something? They'll think about it.
Yeah, and here's a guy that was at the top of the world.
Won
a
$1
Cup
million.
winner. Michael Bennett is he's living in Florida. He's a nurse, very successful, and just wants nothing to do with it. In fact, we're working on trying to do a 20 feet deep with the 4 anglers. There's 4 anglers that have earned $1 million in one season. Do you know who they are? Any idea?
In one season?
4 that have earned $1 million in one season?
Yeah. There was one that came
Scott
close.
Suggs. There's
Suggs is
Bennett.
one.
I'm going to have to go with...
The other one's from Oklahoma.
Uh,
Kind of under the radar. A little bit.
Oklahoma.
O.T. Fears?
No. he won the All-American.
Yes.
Is
Charlie Ingram?
No. No.
I don't know who
Kevin
the
Van Dam one of them?
No.
No. He got close.
No.
that
Daryl
won
Robertson.
Oh, gosh,
Daryl
of
Robertson.
course.
All right,
yeah.
what did he win?
He's a hammer.
He won the millennium.
Yeah, he won the Millennium deal. Yeah, he's a hammer, dude.
Yeah. So we're gonna try and
Who's
see
the
what these
third
guys.
one, or fourth one?
Suggs. Let's see. Suggs, Bennett,
Robertson.
Daryl Robertson. There's one more, and I can't remember.
Gosh, that's a good one.
One more. Who is it?
There's 4.
I think there's 4.
But still,
3 for
that's
sure.
a big deal. Hey, you brought something up that I really have not. We've talked about it on the phone before, but I really want to bring this to the forefront here. Is how much all of us here on Stray Cast enjoy 20 foot deep.
Oh,
Dude, I mean, I'm going to tell you. And then with that Bob Hamilton episode,
yeah.
I told you, I literally watched it. I am now up to 8 times.
Yeah, I'm at 6.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Give me an internet high five because you knocked it out with that one. Yeah.
That was.
He sure did.
That was something that we spent a long time working on, and it was a huge challenge just to find him to begin with, and then the process. And for those people that don't know, Robert Hamilton Jr. won the Bassmaster Classic, had some issues leading up to the Elite Series, the very first Elite Series season back in 2006, and we kind of documented what he went through in an interview format because the man put off surgery. Then he had surgery. Then he got addicted to pain medicine. Then when the prescriptions ran out, he got addicted to cocaine. He got addicted to crystal meth, crack, everything else. Tried to get his life straightened out. Got it straightened out. Then went back on the wagon in 2006 and has just been struggling ever since.
Here's what I found interesting about it. First off, if you have not seen this, it is on thebasszone.com.
Yeah.
You could go see it. I highly recommend it. We talk about it on our show all the time. It's amazing. Here's the deal. What I want to know from you is, was there a point from you as the interviewer, from your perspective, was there a point where you felt uncomfortable or you felt that maybe this is not real?
No, I got freaked out a little bit when he started talking about the whole devil thing.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm referring to. I should have been more specific.
Yeah,
yes.
It kind of bothered me a little bit. I was just like, wow, when somebody starts talking about seeing people in jail.
Yeah, and then in the street outside the class.
I don't really want to take away anything from the story because if you haven't seen it, you really need to watch it. But
spoiler alert.
It was we called the documentary Dancing with the Devil because of the experience that Robert Hamilton Jr. said that he went through in actually seeing what he is considering the devil. And one of the most fascinating things about the interview this was just crazy, and this freaked me out too. This was not in the documentary. We decided to take a break for lunch, and during the time that we took the break for lunch, Matt and I were going to go meet with the gentleman that had the Bassmaster Classic trophy.
Right.
If you didn't know,
I don't care for that guy too
Yeah,
much.
no,
He got-
not so much.
Yeah.
he got to the Robert got to the point where he was broke. He had no money, and he ended up pawning his Bassmaster Classic trophy. So we worked very hard to find the guy who was given the trophy as a going away present from a job.
Yeah, for retiring.
Which
Yeah.
that's a crazy
Made no
story.
sense, dude.
A crazy story to begin. Anyway, so we decided to take a break. Robert was inside of the house where we were doing the interview, right there on the shores of, Ross Barnett.
The Rock.
And as we get ready to walk into the house, Matt's right behind me, Matt Pangrak, the guy that filmed it. He's right behind me. We're walking toward the table where Robert and another gentleman named Mike is sitting. He had no idea where we were going. Robert didn't. All right? Had no idea. We just said, hey, we're going to go grab something to eat. We'll be back. Well, all along, we were going to meet with the guy that had the trophy to shoot that portion of the video. As I walk by Robert, he grabs my arm. And I'm not talking about he just touches my arm. Dude, he grabs my arm and gripped it and looked right at me with his sunglasses still on. Here's the other thing. He refused to take his sunglasses off
Okay.
during the whole interview.
I noticed.
He looked right at me and he goes, hey, Mark, he goes, I don't give a damn about that trophy, and turned around and looked away.
Wow.
Really?
Okay. And he had no idea that that's where we were going. No idea. The only two people that knew were Matt and myself. Mike didn't even know.
I just got a little freaked out.
Yeah. So
All right. So that's some of the freaky stuff that went on that just kind of creeped me out a little
It
bit.
seemed-
What did you say?
I just looked at him and I looked back at Matt and I just kept walking. I didn't know what else to do. It freaked me out.
How? So he had no clue.
Had no clue
where you
that we were going to do what we were going to do and film the guy.
You don't think he knows that guy, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, no, he has no idea. Because
Is that in town?
it was in town, but here's the deal. The guy that had the trophy was so concerned that we had to meet at a church. Even though he knew who we were and
Thought
he
he was
knew,
gonna
he
get
knew
roughed
about
up?
Bass Zone, he wanted to make sure that Robert wasn't going to be there after we told him numerous times that Robert wasn't going to be with us. Robert didn't even know where we were going.
Wow. Jeez.
Okay, but to walk by him and have him grab me by the arm and look dead at me and go, that trophy doesn't mean a damn thing to me.
That's freakazoid right there.
You know, regardless of that, I still
Wow.
don't want that guy to have the trophy.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to get
It
that
should
trophy
be somewhere.
back.
Hey,
but Hamilton don't care about
no,
it.
hang on a minute. Let me say this about the guy, and honestly, I did not put his name in the documentary. And right now, I don't even remember what the guy's name is.
Okay.
All right,
I'm not buying it, but
but I really don't.
Okay.
Popcorn, I don't. I don't know what the dude's name is. Now, obviously, I've got the guy's name written down in my notes and stuff like that, but I do not remember what the guy's name is. Here's the deal. He's a family guy. He's got a great family. He fishes a little bit. He was given that trophy not as a request by him. The dude that gave it to him was his former employer, of which worked at the pawn shop,
yeah.
of which where the trophy was.
Right.
It's not like he was asking for it. So I guess I get it about the dedication and the work ethic and everything that he went through with the employer that he was working at. I get it that it has a different meaning. I mean, it could have been a statue of this water bottle.
right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If that's what it was, he's not going to give up this statue of the water bottle. It just happens to be the classic trophy. All right?
Yeah, I see.
Not
what you're
even
saying.
for a large check.
I guess. Yeah.
He wouldn't, man. I offered him
Really?
a pretty large sum of money for it, and
He wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't do it.
Wow.
Is that your personal best 20-foot deep? Is that your favorite?
You know, yes and no. From a start to end, absolutely.
Because of the work.
Because of the work that went into it. I don't think people realized how difficult it was just to find him and to find the trophy and to really convince him. Because in the beginning, I don't think he was really keen on doing the documentary.
Okay.
All right, I really don't. But then he thought about it for a week or two, and he got back to me, and he goes, okay, I want to do it. Well, in the meantime, I had put all this work and effort into obviously trying to find him and everything that went behind the scenes. I was like, oh, dang, man, if we don't get this done, it's going to suck. And I wasted all that time and effort. So when he did make the decision that, yes, I'm gonna go ahead and do it, and here's why, then I was fired up. So from a start to finish, absolutely, it was so much fun and so rewarding to see it from an idea of, I wonder what the heck happened to Robert Hamilton.
Yeah.
So in the timeline, how long ago did you complete that project? I know it was released, a couple months ago, or is it been that long already?
We wrapped up the editing and everything, I think, in April.
So and let me ask you this, when did you finish when was your final contact with Hamilton?
Well, I talked to him the day that we launched it. He actually sent me a text.
Okay. How's he doing?
I haven't told you guys this.
No, that's why I asked.
He's moved. He's no longer in the room in the single wide trailer.
Has he moved up?
He has moved to Pensacola, Florida.
Really?
Wow.
And he has a job now. He is selling yachts.
Wow.
In
Holy
Pensacola,
cow.
Florida.
That's some good commission.
He ran into a guy, and as a result of the exposure that he's gotten with his documentary, I guess he ran into a guy.
More money in that than Triton boats.
A little.
Yachts are expensive.
Yes.
So he's seems to be doing okay.
That's
And
great.
people have asked me, is he clean? Do you think he's clean? I've told people that have asked me that, yes. All right, he was clean during the interview. All right, I don't think he was using. The other thing is he was there were methods in place to assure he was staying clean.
Okay. Methods by who?
Some of the people that were trying to help him out.
Okay.
He's got
Okay.
sponsors.
So friends in the program.
There
that he was
were
involved
some.
in or whatever.
He didn't really have a whole lot of friends.
Okay.
There was one dude that was helping him out.
Okay.
Because he had burned so many bridges over the years.
Right.
He seems to be doing okay, man. And I'll text him every now and then. Hey, man, you doing all right? And I'll
Dude,
get a response back from him. So
it's good, and it just shows how real that this sport is. Like you brought up Bennett, Robert Hamilton. Look what happens there. It's and for lack of a better way to put it, it's 0 to 0 overnight in a lot of instances.
Yeah, and I think something that gets lost too, Pat. And I'm not trying to get too philosophical here, but I think sometimes we get in this circle of what takes place in the professional bass fishing world and don't realize that whatever's taking place in that very small circle takes place in every other circle in society. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When people see guys that go out and they go 4 events without getting a check, and they're like, hey, man, you suck. Why the heck are you doing this? You're spending money like crazy. It takes place in every other aspect of life when it comes to trying to succeed. I mean, these guys, for the most part, they're doing it because they love the game, but they want to be successful and they want to make money. And me and Matt get into the argument all the time that these guys aren't doing it for the money. And I go, BS. I go, when it really comes down to it,
100% they're doing it for the money.
They are doing it for the money.
Absolutely, they are.
And
you have to love it to try to make money at it, though.
And it is so difficult. But at the same time, in every aspect, from a career perspective, in the business world, in the medical world, in the industrial world, it doesn't matter. Competition is there. And everybody's trying to outdo everybody else.
They are. It's a constant one-upping.
Constantly.
Constant.
I mean, I battled it for 20-plus years in the corporate world. And I think that gets lost sometimes because these guys are so much at the forefront, so much in the public eye of the people that are fans of this game that they don't really realize, oh, well, crap, it's no different than anybody else in any other aspect of life.
It's how they feed their family. So listen to this. So what do you think? You said it. This is the only way they have to make money. So it's a struggle. Okay. So we're talking in industry. So their tournament winnings, their sponsor winnings, everything else. Do you think that there's anglers that are actually going through the motions yet still achieving success because this is all they have?
That's a minority, very small. All right, I think you can kind of group everybody into 3 different categories. All right, what I call the 10%ers.
Okay.
Right? You know what the 10%ers are?
Yeah.
Yes.
They wear their jerseys at the Cracker Barrel.
No.
Oh, sorry. Not those ones? Not those ones?
No.
Oh, the ones that wear them at the Walmart.
No.
Yeah.
In my classification of the 10%ers are you have about 10% of the people out there that are truly making a badass living doing this.
Gotcha.
All right. And when I say
That's the other 10%.
I did know what you meant.
all right, that is people that are making a 6-figure income, very comfortable, have contracts locked in, they are the 10%ers. Okay? Then you have about 50% of the guys out there that are getting by okay, that have no financial secured future, but are doing okay, all right, at this moment to where they can survive, they can keep grinding. The 50%ers are kind of the grinders. Is
Right.
how I classify.
Sure.
I mean, dude, they're out there, they're hustling, they're doing everything they can to get sponsorship.
Establishing.
They are grinding.
Yep.
Okay. Then you have about 25%. I got to do my math here. I think it's 20. The other 25%. You have about 25% that are just surviving. That's all they're doing.
And that sounds low to me.
Yeah, I mean,
that number, but-
in my classification of survival is they can't do anything else. This is what they have. This is all they have, and they're trying to push through the best that they can, based upon what they have done in the past. Make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Have you ever read the book, the old book Double Whammy,
No,
about professional bass fishing?
no.
Oh my God, Mark.
I need to put that on the list.
Seriously, Double Whammy is, and I'm probably massacring his name, but it's I think the guy's name is Carl Hyacin. He's the same.
Okay.
He's the same one that he's a author from Florida. He's the same one that wrote that movie and the book Striptease.
Okay.
Do you remember with
Yeah.
Demi Moore and
Yep,
Burt
yep,
Reynolds?
yep,
And
Yep.
and it is about professional bass fishing. It's about a cheater in professional bass fishing steals some money from his church. He builds a giant condominium complex and stocks it with 10-pound bass and gets all these fishermen to move into the complex, but all the fish in the complex die. It's an amazing read. There's
Okay. Can you get in on Amazon?
I don't know, actually. It's been so long.
You need to let me know on that.
You've
We're
got
gonna-
it,
we'll-
right?
we'll figure, I have it somewhere in paperback. But
Okay.
yeah,
I'd love to read it.
dude, I am telling you, it is so the direct correlation between what is going on, not that everybody's cheating, but
Yeah.
the direct correlation of the stir up in the bass fishing world right now.
Okay.
Double Whammy is the deal. Hey, Ginger, do you see that anywhere? Double Whammy, where that is? It's and I think it's Carl Hyacin. I mean, you got to do it. I'm telling you, you're going to do a whole damn show on him, Mark. It's right there. Is that Ray Scott?
No, it's Panger.
Cousin Matt?
Cousin Matt.
Yeah, Cousin Matt's here. Where's he at?
He's on his way.
Oh, good.
He's on his way. He should be here any minute. All
Nice.
right. So if I did my math right, I want to see that book. See if you can dig that up because I'm definitely
Yeah,
interested.
Ginger's looking at it right here. It's
Carl
like
Hyacin,
Carl,
right?
Carl Hyacin.
Yeah, it's on Amazon right here.
Double Whammy.
Send me that link.
It-
Okay.
it is amazing.
What? It's only $4. Is that right? What a bargain. Anyway, so I have 15% left.
Yes.
It says
And
free.
based upon historical data, all right, because I like to have that foundation of
Yes.
historical. There's 15% of people out there that have no business being out there. None.
Both tours?
Both tours.
All 3 tours, I mean?
No, I'm not going to say that about the third one. Okay,
I
because
wouldn't.
they ain't none of those guys
Mark, you've been a lot around.
should be out there.
You've been around.
All of
this-
them should be out there.
Yeah, you've been around this game a long time. And this is, as you said, a time of change. Okay? Again, it might an accurate term might be the dawning of the new age of bass fishing. Okay? I see a bunch of hippies from that musical Hair dancing around
Oh, yeah.
right now. But, I mean, is this for the better in your prediction?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. We need this change.
Yeah, I think so. And obviously, we're being very vague,
Yes.
and we're being very vague for a reason. But you look at things in history, and some people don't like to go back and compare things that have taken place from a historical aspect. But when you go back and you look at the history of this game, what probably, and let me get your thought, what probably was the most impactful thing that took place with professional fishing over the last 30 years?
Wow.
And I'm going to get to the point that I'm trying to make once you answer that.
I find that a very difficult question to answer. The most historical thing that is impactful thing that has taken place. Gosh, and it could go a couple of different ways. To me,
you say in the last 20 years?
Last 30 years.
The last 30 years. Well, the first thing in this is probably not accurate, but to me, that's been the most impactful is live broadcasting. I think it's been impactful in all aspects.
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt. And that's kind of a little asterisk by the point that I'm going to try and make, because I really thought you'd come up with the other one.
Major League Fishing. Huh? Major League Fishing is the most impactful to me.
I disagree with that. Let's keep going.
So the most impactful thing,
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, think back, and it happened a number of years ago, and I'm going to give you a hint.
The qualifying factor?
It changed the way that the entire branding of a professional angler was put forth.
Wrapped boats and shirts?
And what happened during all that? What event took place? What event
2008.
No, it was 2006.
2006.
What happened in 2006?
The dawn of the Elite Series.
That's it. All right, you think about how professional fishing was prior to 2006. You remember what it consisted of? It consisted of the BP Top 100s, and then it went BP Top 150s. Everybody rushed home on Sunday evenings. Why? Because they wanted to watch the TNN outdoor block that took place on the Nashville network.
Sure.
But the way that professional anglers could position themselves as a viable profession truly changed in 2006.
That was the platform?
That was it. Right?
Makes sense.
You had a handful of guys. And what's funny is Robert Ashley said this in the documentary. I don't know if you remember or not. He said you had a handful of guys, mainly TV guys, that were making a living and getting the majority of the sponsorship money. And he's dead on.
Yeah, exactly. And who talked about that last night? George Cochran told us that last night.
Dead on.
Yeah.
All right? So what happened in 2006? Finally, there was a platform that was created by the formation of the Elite Series to actually give the professional angling community an opportunity to build their brand. To build their brand and actually generate revenue to truly become a professional angler. Because most of the time, and most of the successful guys back prior to that, they all had other jobs.
That's true.
All right? They were all guides. They were business owners.
Lots of guides.
The Hemphill gang.
Yeah.
I mean, think about those
the Hemphill,
guys.
Texas guys. Yeah.
I mean,
Tommy, Larry.
The legend, Harold Allen.
Harold Allen, yes.
I mean, those guys dominated in the 70s and 80s, but they were all guides. You know, a few of them had businesses and stuff, but that was the formation. And the majority of the sponsorship money was going to television people.
100%.
All right, now you have the creation of the Elite Series, and suddenly it is a viable task to try and become a professional angler. You know, and then you look at the FLW side, and on the FLW side, what happened?
As far as a change?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's when they went into the big money deals with the Millennium Derby and the $1 million winners.
The whole positioning of a Walmart.
Walmart.
Yep.
Okay. And then you actually had these guys getting these sponsorships.
Wheaties boxes.
That was totally in
Keebler.
what? It was in correlation with Walmart. All right, the driving force behind that whole thing. I don't know if you guys can remember. I mean, he's so young. I'm an old guy. Dude, I'm telling you, back in the 90s, in some of the years in the 90s, these guys were bankrolling money. All right?
yeah.
I mean, it was insane how much money was flowing out at the end of the 90s and into the early days of the Elite Series and those early days when Clark Wendlandt was showing up on a Kellogg's box.
Sure.
And you had
Denny.
Denny
on the
and
Wheaties
Kevin.
box. Yeah.
it was a great time to be involved with that. Okay, so having said that, over the past 12 years, what's changed?
It's a stumper. What's changed over
That's 12 years?
Yeah, what's changed from a professional fishing perspective?
Well, I'll tell you right now that what's changed is
You said it already, Popcorn.
Major League Fishing.
Major League Fishing and the spread of money.
That's what has changed. Okay, so now, where's the next step going to? Do you see what I'm talking
I
about
like
here?
how you weaved there. I like it. Yeah.
You see what's happening there? But when you look and no matter what happens, I'll say this and I'll go on the record saying this, no matter what happens, whatever might be out there and whatever might be taking place, who knows? We don't know. Whatever might happen, in my opinion, I think FLW is going to be in great shape. I really do.
I hear you.
All right, because
Well, they've got the grassroots kind of thing going.
they have been superior at establishing what their mission statement and mission strategy is. And when it really comes down to it, they do a great job at taking care of their commodity.
Absolutely,
What is their commodity? The anglers.
The anglers, yep.
And I'm talking from the red man level all the way up to what we're doing here today.
I agree. There's no vagueness there whatsoever.
And just all aspects of their game makes it successful. It just does. From a revenue standpoint, from an angling standpoint. So whatever goes on, I think that
It's for the better.
FLW is rock solid.
They're going to be safe.
Okay, now let me say this. Right, you look at the other organization.
Yeah.
What has changed in the last 12 years?
Bassmaster Live.
That's it. But I mean, from an angler standpoint,
Well, the Wintertime Classic, moving everything to the south
Yeah.
to show giant fish, which I don't. Doesn't matter. I'd like to see some up north.
but in the grand scheme of things, what are they still doing? Let's see here. Okay, they're having 3 days of practice. Mm-hmm. Then they have day 1, then they have day 2, day 3, and day 4. They go out, they catch fish, they weigh them in. Everybody goes home on Sunday.
It's the same deal. Nothing new there.
They got rid of co-anglers. They were the first ones to do that.
So why do you think that? What's your reasoning behind that?
Do they have a farm system?
Not really.
No.
Well, I mean, they have Bass Nation, but they cut the spots for the half the spots for the
that
Classic.
whole correlation that goes with
You
that
see-
entity is really, it's very hodgepodge-ish. You know, it's
Yeah.
all over the place.
It's constantly changing.
I mean, I don't
It's
know
Bass Nation and the Opens.
Yeah,
And there's a big difference.
What goes on in your nation may be 180 degrees difference in what goes on in the Oklahoma nation.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Just from Wisconsin to Illinois,
I
it's
was
100% different.
And I never really understood that.
So do you think if a new league does happen, if and when a new league happens, you're stating that you think that FLW is rock solid?
I do.
So you're in essence, you're kind of nudging at the fact that you think that they'll pull a majority of anglers from.
I don't think it really matters,
Okay.
honestly, because I think the business plan and the strategy that FLW has is so solid, and there's so much brand loyalty to it because of everything that's been built from the ground up.
Good foundation.
It's so solid. So I think when you have a number from a membership number, and that number has remained stagnant for so many years, that should be a concern.
Sure.
Agreed?
Yeah.
Agree, yeah.
I do.
And I think that the tragedy that may occur actually it occurred a long time ago. Because, I mean, I was part of back then, I'm going to date myself here, part of the federation instead of the nation.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not that long ago.
Dude, that thing was just, it could have been so good in building up what I call the tier foundation.
Sure. Look what it did for Kerschel. And,
I mean,
and
you go from
Iaconelli.
You go from the nation
Palaniuk.
to the Opens
Yeah.
to the Elite Series.
Yep.
And I don't know what happened. I mean, maybe you guys can tell me. But
I saw it happen, but
dude,
I didn't
don't
know
what
why.
happened to the whole weekend series that they tried.
They
Right.
crushed it.
Just
yeah.
gone.
It was good.
And
It was
and,
good
and
in
here's
Wisconsin, at least.
I think what happened is in large areas of the country, they were so brand loyal to the Redmans and the BFLs that they were like, man, this is too good over here. And then you had all this fragmentation taking place to where that kind of line to work your way up in that tier qualification just kind of got obliterated. All right, now you throw in the other factor, all right, which is the high school and college, which continues to grow.
Sure.
But in my involvement in being around a lot of these college guys, it's just a handful of guys that truly this is what they want to do.
Yeah.
When it really comes down to it. Most of them are doing it because they love to fish. It's an activity during their college years. They continue to fish, all right, but they have no aspirations to take it to the next level.
So if there is another league that comes about, okay, and there still is, let's say that there's 3 leagues coexisting.
And we have no idea.
We
Just,
don't even know.
It's just speculation.
Yeah, exactly. It's all.
Yeah, it might not even happen.
It's around the roseberry bush or mulberry bush, whatever you call it right now. But here's the deal. So say that there are now 3 leagues, 3 major leagues in professional bass fishing. All right. Does that open the door for more aspiring anglers to achieve success, or does it make it harder?
That depends on what they do for the qualifications, right?
He's dead on.
Well, I'm asking. I'm asking your.
Yeah. I have always been a believer, and you guys have listened to the show, dude. I am so committed to this that if you truly want to be involved in this game, I don't care if you're fishing A, B, C, E, F, G, F, L, W, X, Y, Z. It doesn't matter. All right. What you have to have is you have to have a plan and a foundation to become successful. And the only logical way to do that is to structure your game and your league very similar to what other professional individual sports do.
Sure.
You earn your way to participate and to get to that level. And if you can't accomplish it at a lower level, you are saving an enormous amount of time, money, and effort. Because if you can't showcase and you can't perform at that lower level,
then there ain't no use of going up.
You just can't.
It's not going to happen.
Get it done.
It's not going to happen.
Dude, I'm telling you, fishing 3 or 4 events and going, yeah, here's $80,000, let's get after it, is not an indication that you possess the ability to go out and be successful at 9 different venues across the country.
And that's what that's what I was kind of shaking my head about with the Opens last year. What they've gone to with the Opens now is they're making it more about travel. It's like, who can travel?
Yeah.
That's a lot of miles.
And then have 3 good tournaments.
Yeah, you know how many?
And then you're in the Elite Series.
You know how many miles on the Elite Series in 2019 these guys are going to have to travel?
27.
Insane.
It's 22,000 miles.
22,000.
All right, and that's not even. Hey, I'm going to go over here after this tournament.
Well, based
and I'm gonna
on
go
where
here.
based on where you live.
Right.
I mean,
on average, we calculated kind of, because everybody's like in the Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Missouri kind of. Yeah, 22,000 miles, dude.
So how far is Palaniuk going to drive?
Oh, my God. What about Bobby Lane?
Yeah, exactly. All the way in Florida.
I mean,
for
think about that. You wrap things up. You wrap things up at the Columbia River, and then where you got to go to get home.
Yeah.
If you're Bobby Lane. Dude,
Nice.
I told him, I said, you know what you need to do? You need to put your truck and boat on one of those covered freight cars on a BSX train and just have it train
Boom.
back to Florida.
Gone.
Yep.
Amazing.
I'd be paying people to drive it back.
Or
and I'd
just
jump
have
on a plane.
Boyd Duckett's helicopter hover it
Yeah.
from location to location.
Sure.
We could do that. Hey, so let's have some fun. You want to play some games, Mark?
I like games.
Yeah, since this is the first time you've actually been with us live here, we're going to play.
Have I talked too much, man?
No, dude, I
No.
love it. You make it so much easier for me.
Yes.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I love it.
I have fun.
You're the Godfather.
I don't know about that.
You know what I'm saying? So we play a game show on Straightcast, and it's called Bass and Life. Okay, Bass and Life. So
Okay.
I'm going to give you some words.
My life's pretty boring.
No.
This will make it interesting.
This could be anyone's life. Pick a fictional character if you don't want to play yourself.
Okay.
You could play yourself on TV, but not in real life.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. So we're going to play a game called Bass and Life. I'm going to give you a word or a phrase, and you tell me how it relates to bass fishing as well as life. Are you ready, Ginge?
I'm ready.
Let's play a little bit
Oh, we got music.
of Bass and Life. Yep, I'm your host, Pat Renwick, joined by Ryan Popcorn Whitaker and the one and only godfather of bass fishing talk shows, Mark Jeffrey. For the first time ever, Jeffries is going to play Bass and Life.
I'm kind of nervous.
Here you go. The first word or term to you, Mark Jeffries, is the gaff. The gaff, related to bass fishing and life. The gaff.
Wow. To my life or anything in life in general?
Life in general and bass fishing.
Okay.
Life in
from
general
from
and
a
bass
life
fishing.
standpoint, probably one of the biggest gaffes I ever did was when I was a senior in high school. I had the idea that we weren't going to have the senior assembly where all the seniors were going to have to stand up and talk about what high school meant to them. And I made the decision I wasn't going to do that. So we went and we rounded up 10 stray dogs and stacked up every single folding chair in the auditorium in one pile and left the dogs in there the entire night. And it was a big gaffe because the next day they threatened not to graduate the entire class.
Mark
And everybody
Jeffries,
was
the
pointing
hooligan.
on me, man.
That's
They were-
Mark. That's Mark the hooligan. Okay, that's
Rounding up
that's the big
stray
gaff.
dogs.
So fishing-wise,
Yeah.
man, I remember when I was a kid, we used to go ocean fishing all the time. And
Sure.
I always think of the gaff, hey, there's a bonita, and you're reeling up the
Yeah,
bonita.
you got to get
gaff.
in gaff the
So,
cuda.
Yeah, I was terrible at the gaff.
To me, it's an oversized flipping hook.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
The six
that's
out.
what the gaff is. Okay,
Six
out
let-
straight shank.
let's keep going here. Moon phase, related to bass fishing and life. Moon phase.
Obviously, fishing, it's the spawn. I mean, everybody thinks you have a zillion spawning experts out there that catching fish on the beds is
Okay.
totally related to whatever the moon phase
Spawn
is.
or
the
feeding
spawn.
or feeding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moon phase.
Related to life. What does it do to you, Mark Jeffries?
Probably the first night I ever spent the night on the beach.
Moon phase.
Yeah.
Were there
It
psychedelics
was-
involved?
No. We were actually grunion hunting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what that is?
Yeah, those little things that come out of the sand.
Yeah. That was the first time I lived in Long Beach, and we went grunion hunting
All right. Hey,
and saw the moon come up.
related to bass fishing and life, the word is split tail. Split tail.
Huh. Fishing, probably the first time I used a trailer on a spinner.
The old-fashioned split
Yeah.
tail trailer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Came on the Hank Parker Classic.
Yeah, there was
Yes, sir.
a farm pond that one of the guys that I played baseball with in college, his uncle owned, and it had this weird grass in it in Oklahoma. I have no idea what it was, but we would throw spinner baits with those split tails
Sure.
on there and catch fish.
Absolutely. Related?
Life, man, split tail.
Come on, Mark.
Man, I do not want to incriminate myself with that one. So
Please do.
you have to answer.
Come on.
I don't know.
We're on the internet.
I was a young executive right out of college, working in of all towns, Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Wow.
All right, I truly was an Okie from Muskogee.
Muskogee, yeah.
And didn't know a whole lot of people, but I had a friend of mine that I went to college with and played baseball with again. He came and spent the weekend, and we went to Tulsa for a big thing, and he ended up hooking up with this girl that I actually used to date, and it pissed me off. So
Wow.
I guess you were splitting
Splitting tails.
tails.
Okay, there it is.
So-
Wow.
That'll work.
That happens right
All
there.
right.
So
Yeah.
the next thing in bass fishing and in life, overkill. Overkill.
Oh, that's an easy one in life. I remember the first time I ever saw the band Overkill. It was at the
Here's
Elks
Overkill.
Lodge Hall in Huntington Beach. It was Overkill, DOA, the Adolescents, and who was the other? Saccharin Trust.
Nice.
You're blowing my mind.
Wow,
right now.
yes.
All right, so yeah, Overkill. The first time I saw Overkill, in fact, I was going to. This is so crazy. I was cleaning a bunch of stuff up a couple weeks ago, and I found some old posters because that was a big deal back then in the early '80s
Screen
and late
printed
'70s
posters.
was to get these posters and put them on telephone poles for the next gigs that were taking place
Sure.
at the Whiskey and
Absolutely.
the Elks Lodge and
I got paid to do that for a few years.
yeah. So Overkill life, fishing, man. I think there's a lot of overkill sometimes on the success of certain baits. It cracks me up how people think, oh, you know, I can go out and I can catch 20 pounds on this every single time I go out.
Every time. It's a bait.
If I got a buck every time somebody said every time,
It works 100%.
We'd be okay.
It works 60% of the time every time.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of overkill in bass fishing.
The last one, Mark Jeffries, psychosomatic.
Hang on, I want to go back to the other one.
Okay.
I want to change my answer.
Wait, to which one?
Overkill
Okay.
in fishing. You know what overkill in fishing is?
Go ahead.
I didn't want to offend anybody that might be out there right there.
Mark, this is your conscience speaking, Mark.
Yeah.
You did not say jerseys, Mark. You did not. You did not say too many. You did not say too many stickers on your pickup truck, Mark.
Well, I'm sorry.
You didn't say that.
I really didn't want to offend anybody with that.
Yeah.
but-
Aw,
Am I right on that one, though?
Yeah, well, here's you being politically correct all
I think
of a
you
sudden.
just won the game
You
with
get-
that answer.
That's the first time Mark Jeffries ever got bashful in his life.
yeah,
In-
okay.
In his life. So, hey,
Hey, I got two more. You want two more? I'll do two more.
okay.
Let's go.
All right, two more.
What do you got?
Psychosomatic.
Probably a dude named Mike Vickery in life. All right? His name was Mike Vickery. I saw him do something that was absolutely psychotic, although it may not have been psychosomatic, but let's just say it was 4th and 20 at this bar called O'Connell's. It was during OU Kansas. All right, big football game, and we had the fraternity from Kansas come down with us. And Vickery, dude, he was freaking ripped.
Like
And-
Tommy Martin.
And somebody pissed him off at a bar, and you know the whole thing, especially when the college testosterone is
Been there.
flowing.
Heineken muscles.
Yeah, so this dude popped off to him, and Vickery popped off to him back, and the guy popped off again, and then for some reason, the dude reached down to tie his shoe. And you know what Vickery did when the dude
That's
reached
when he
down?
clocked him?
It was 4th and 20,
Oh.
and he punted.
He gave him the old Charlie Brown.
And then he looks at me and he goes, "We got to get the heck out of here." And I was like standing there looking at this guy. His blood was just, it was gushing out of this guy's mouth and nose.
Cheap shot.
Oh, my
the
gosh.
cheap shot. So what is it in bass fishing? What's psychosomatic in bass fishing?
I don't catching 100 pounds of smallmouth if that ever happens.
That's psychosomatic.
Yeah.
All right, last one. Last one. Knuckle slider. Life in bass fishing.
I have no idea. There was a dude that I faced in college in baseball, and he had a knuckle curve. Not a knuckle slider. I mean, a curveball is kind of like a slider, but he was nasty. I struck out 4 times against him.
I think R.A. Dickey has a knuckle slider. Doesn't he?
Knuckle curve was something that this one dude had. It was nasty. Fishing?
What's the knuckle slider in fishing?
Knuckle slider.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that a new swim bait coming out?
No, it's actually the new bass fishing league that is rumored to be taking place. The
knuckle
knuckle
slider.
slider right
I
there.
can't wait
You know
to
what
see
the-
the logo on that one.
You know what the knuckle slider is
This?
Be careful now.
Yeah, I'm
Be
sorry.
careful.
Oh, let's not go there.
That's it. Right. Mark, thank you so much, dude.
No, man, thanks.
I
Hey,
mean-
you guys do a great job. And like I said, anything that I can do to help you guys, hey, you just call me anytime. And you got a great thing going here. You keep it real, and just remember this one thing, Patrick. Every guy that you interview on this show, remember, all they do is catch fish.
That's right. They're just like us.
Just keep it real, man.
All right.
All
dude.
right.
Mark Jeffries, ladies and
right.
gentlemen.
Thank you,
you
Popcorn.
so much. Hey,
All right.
keep it locked here out there in Internet Bass Fishing Galaxy Land. We will be back with more action from the Expo Center at the 2018 Forrest Wood Cup. Put the power poles down. Don't go nowhere.